Now, tonight in session, Twin Falls, which is the band incarnation of Luke Stidson. He was here last week, along with his brother Mark on guitar and bouzouki, and Emma Kingston on cello and backing vocals. We've played tracks from the album Slow Numb, which was an album conceived and recorded in South Somerset. And last week, as I say, they came in and did 3 songs, and I had a chat with Luke as well. And before we hear the first song, I asked him afterwards how he felt about coming into an environment like this and playing. Was it kind of different from what he normally did? Or when they played live, was it a bit like this anyway?
BBC Introducing.
The live thing we normally take gig by gig, really. So, there are a lot of different setups for the band, I guess. But no, I'm still trying to get comfortable with being a singer. I haven't been a singer that long. It's only been a few years. So I feel a bit strange if I don't have a microphone in front of me that's, right in front of me. But yeah, no, it was very nice. Thanks for having us on.
No, absolute pleasure. We have to give credit to Millie Charles, who obviously knew you before we did and brought you to the show. So a bit of credit to Millie in the first place. But give us the background for the people who don't know Twin Falls very well, because you started off, you used to run a label yourself, did you not?
Yeah, I used to run a label called Exercise One. That was about 5 years ago, and that went massively bust, like all good labels do. And I kind of just went back to writing songs, which is what I'd done before. And we've been going as Twin Falls for about 3 years now.
Running a label is always going to be a tricky business, but despite the fact that you lost money at it, did you always feel that was because you kept your integrity and it was just kind of part and parcel of the process?
Yeah, well, we'd always kind of we tried to have sort of a strong ethics with it. We never had contracts or anything like that, and we just kind of did whatever we wanted, and that meant that we lost money and put out records.
Was it ever thus?
Yes. Sort of. We just sort of put out records that we liked, as opposed to things that were sort of going to be commercially successful. But it was really, really good fun, and I loved doing it. But I do have a very low credit score now. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Just sleepwalking, I'm not a ghost. Go back to sleep, you're just a bruise, something I hope for, the chance I take, some bill I pay. Home There's something I find hard to relate to now you're gone. I'm sure I broke your heart to pieces. You're not a ghost. Go back to sleep. But you had your own way of language. You had your own way of singing the blues. Alameda, you said the best things we always lose, like a heaven that you didn't choose. The beating of your heart is just a language that you'll never use. Don't speak now of your vibrant past. Don't speak now of your vibrant past. I used to think that the city was alive. Then I held your hand for the first time. I remember all the bars and the words I didn't understand. Now the city's burning bright. I'm all alone trying to write you the saddest songs. I'm breathing underwater, I'm treading on broken glass. It was a big deal then, but the heartache never lasts.
BBC Introducing.
That's Twin Falls in session tonight, and the first of 3 songs called Alameda. Later on, we'll be talking
They're
to
not
the
all
Naturals.
called Alameda.
No, that one's called Alameda.
No, that one was called Alameda. The other ones have different names.
Later on in the show, we'll be talking to the guys from Howling Owl, and one of the things they said is they came to running a label from being musicians. They're still musicians, but they were musicians first and record label owners second. Luke Stidson kind of did it the other way round. He came to music after running a little independent label called Exercise One.
You know, I ran the label with 2 other guys, Tom Madders and John Kelly, and I'd always had them around for support, I guess. So it was a bit weird suddenly being by myself, and obviously there's other members to the live band and on the record, but sort of focus was on me, which is really weird. Took some getting used to. So in that respect, it was a bit strange, but.
No, I'm right in thinking you live in London now, not in Somerset anymore, but the basic process of making the album was all done in Somerset.
Actually, I've just moved back to Somerset.
Oh, okay.
But
they all do it in the end.
Yeah, no, I do still do bits of work in London for my day job, but I'm back in Somerset now. I have like a little cottage where I've got like a little studio in sort of downstairs in my cottage. So yeah, it kind of works quite well for recording and stuff. I don't know. I kind of always thought that I'd end up getting drawn back to Somerset.
And the songs, particularly Janie, because that's kind of the lead track off the album. That was the single, I think I'm right in saying. And you talked in brief when you introduced the song about where it comes from. But the video, I looked at the video this afternoon, and Jeff and Janie are individuals who have been invented to protect the innocent, or?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know where Jeff came from. I think Jeff came from the bottom of a bottle of whiskey, but and sort of strange purchase of a cow mask on the internet. I do remember Janie actually purposely calling her Janie because I didn't know anyone called Janie, and I didn't think I'd ever meet anyone called Janie. So yeah, I guess.
And have you subsequently?
No.
You haven't had somebody come up to you and go, "Is that song about me?" Somebody you've never met.
Oh, I've had quite like a few girls have said, "Is that song about me?" I was about to say loads then, but I was going to give off the wrong impression.
BBC Introducing.
Hi, I'm Twin Falls. This first song is about trying to be a better man than you already are, because you're a man and you're rubbish. It's called Janie, I'll Only Let You Down.
All my love notes are never written by hand. I use those obvious nouns, sandwiching ampersands. I'll steal from Norman Blake on demand. I won't show up, I'll leave you hanging around. You know, Janie, I will only let you down. How would we even know that I'm what's best? Have you spoken to the others? Have they taken your test? Some kissing survey and death marker research. I'll evidently make you cry, make you frown. You know, Janie, I will only let you down. You sit in silence when there's nothing to say. You couldn't leave me for a minute, I could leave you all day. Quit running circles and just staring that way. Talk films and books that you know nothing about. You know, Janie, this just isn't working out. 2, 3, 4. Janie, I will only let you down.
So that's Twin Falls. That's the second of 3 tracks. It's called Janie.
I Will Only Let You Down.
Well, it's just called Janie in front of me. Now, I wasn't there for the actual session last week. What were they like?
They were lovely people.
Were they?
Yeah, Luke and Mark.
Doesn't come across at all on air.
They're just playing tunes to you. Just playing tunes to you. Luke and Mark are brothers, so they've got that innate knowledge of each other's and what they're going to do next.
Yeah.
I've played in a band with a brother. Have you ever played? You haven't got a brother, though.
I haven't got a brother.
Played in a band with any of your sisters?
My sister plays the drums.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she does, and she has a drum kit, but she never really wanted to play with me. I don't think she liked me very much.
Why would that be? They were joined by Emma Kingston on cello and backing vocals, and we'll have one more song in just a minute. But the background to Twin Falls, the current album is out now, Slow Numb, and as Luke said there, he conceived and recorded it in Somerset. He then went off to live in London, and whilst he still does some work in London, he's returned to South Somerset. It's amazing how these nice little out-of-the-way places draw you home to make music. They're playing a couple of times in Bristol during March. In fact, on consecutive days, they'll be supporting Wires at the Fleece on the 15th of March, but the gig that really stands out for me is the following day at the Grain Barge, the 16th of March. Twin Falls, Mouse Deer and Alice Jemima.
Wowzers.
That'll be a great
what a
night.
Combo.
16th of March aboard the Grain Barge.
Get down there if you can. So we've got one more session track to play for you this evening. Living Hell, one of their chirpy numbers. It's the second time I've used the word chirpy in the show.
It's the opening track on the album Snow Numb.
I think chirpy is an underused word.
Voices are calling me, tiny echoes and now I'll sink. Your memories are not what you think. as you set your scene like a living hell, and you make me out to be a so well, and I guess I'll never play that part of the big man with the broken heart. Jesus is nothing that I've seen. I wasn't made for rescuing. I'd come get you, but you probably just leave. And you want your bed, but you just can't sleep. You still want it all, but you don't want me. And I guess I'll never play that part of the big man with a broken heart.
A much chirpier version of Living Hell than the one that opens the album Slow Numb by Twin Falls.
Oh, quite right. No, it's nice for a band to be able to come in to do a session and to try and create a different vibe, different sound, try out some different instruments, maybe a different arrangement. And I think that sounded beautiful, actually, and that's the first time I've heard it, so
good.
Really nice.
Twin Falls were Luke Stidson, Mark Stidson and Emma Kingston, and you can catch them in Bristol on the 15th at the Fleece, and then on the Grain Barge on the 16th of March with Mouse Deer and Alice Jemima. Should be a great night.
I mean, that's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, Alice Jemima, we know very well here on the show. I mean, she doesn't play live as much as maybe she could, and maybe
certainly
maybe
not up here, yeah.
No, for sure. But that sounds like a great gig, and the Grain Barge is a lovely venue, and I'm sure that'll be brilliant. Now we're going to play an artist that I know very little about. I've been scouring.